Hey, it's Luke from LT Gaming, and today we're doing a should you buy for modern naval warfare, and this is one of the harder ones I've had to talk about. Since I previewed the game again the other week, things have changed quite quickly. Modern naval warfare has now shifted into early access, and I think that decision tells you quite a lot about the state of the game. This is not a simple naval combat game, it's not a casual submarine action game, it's a very serious, very technical, very ambitious submarine simulation. So in this series on LT Gaming, we play a game, get hands on with it, and give you our honest first impressions on whether you should buy it, wait, or maybe just keep it on the wish list for now. And if you find this useful, do give the video a like, because apparently the algorithm is a lot like sonar. If you don't send out a ping, nobody knows you're there. Modern naval warfare puts you inside a Virginia-class nuclear submarine, and the big selling point here is immersion. You're not just looking at a map and clicking on contacts. You're walking around inside of the submarine, moving between stations, using highly detailed systems, listening to sonar, working with contacts, weapons, navigation, and all the stuff that makes modern submarine warfare feel less like an arcade battle and more like a very tense, very slow, very technical military operation. And that's a really important thing to understand here straight away. This is a hardcore submarine simulator aimed at military enthusiasts, naval sim fans, and people who enjoy learning complex systems. In this early access build, you've got a playable campaign, quick missions, and the ability to create or run single missions. But the real heart of the game is the simulation platform itself, and I will highlight there's no multiplayer at this time. But it's about learning how the boat works, understanding the stations, and slowly figuring out how to operate in a modern underwater battle space. Let's jump into what's good. Well, when modern naval warfare is good, it's genuinely fascinating. The level of depth here, I mean no pun intended, is honestly a bit ridiculous. You can tell this has been built by people who are deeply passionate about the subject matter, and there are moments when you look at the internal simulation of the submarine, the stations, the sonar work, the tactical displays, and the overall general presentation, and you think, right, this is probably the most serious modern submarine sim we've seen in a very, very long time. There's a real sense the developers have built a platform that could grow for years, and they confirmed this when I attended a developer event. The systems are there, the foundations are there, and the atmosphere is very strong. The music for me was also a highlight. I do enjoy that aspect of games, and gives the whole thing a slightly epic military thriller feel, but it's not the focus here. Visually, I think it's better than some people might expect from a game this niche. This isn't quite DCS level spectacle, and I don't think anyone should go into it expecting that kind of polish, but compared to something like Command Modern Operations, where the simulation is mostly abstracted through a map, modern naval warfare instead gives you that first-person physicality. You're inside the submarine, you can move around it, you can see the stations, and you can feel the space, and that adds a lot to the immersion, and it all looks really good from the inside. If you enjoy being trapped inside the submarine, that is. Now, there is external cameras, but I think really the highlight for me graphically was the internals. I also really like that you can automate some stations, because for a lot of players that will be essential. There are definitely people out there who don't necessarily want to manually operate every single system, but do want that feeling of commanding a submarine, making the big decisions, and letting specialists handle some of the technical work. I do think the automation options help you with that, but I'll be honest, I wish they went further here. Because for a game this complex, more command level assistance would make it much easier to actually get to the fun. And that, to be honest, brings us to the big problem here. This game is simply overwhelming. And it's not just like, oh Luke, this has a learning curve overwhelming. I mean proper sit there staring at a console wondering what your life has become overwhelming. Tom and I both struggle with this one. I mean, at one point he spent over an hour targeting a whale and then fired a torpedo that didn't go anywhere. So it's definitely not a criticism of the subject matter, because it's a submarine sim and it should be complex. Just the onboarding isn't where it needs to be yet. Just a quick interlude to say most of you who watch the channel are not subscribed. So make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button, because it helps smaller channels like us grow really quickly, and both me and Tom really appreciate it. From a casual player's perspective, or even from someone who plays a lot of strategy and simulation games, it can be very difficult to get from this is impressive to I am actually enjoying myself. Though I'll be honest, we did have a little giggle about Tom trying to not target that whale. The lack of clear in-game tutorials really hurts this though, to be honest. And I don't believe that this is necessary, because like I've just covered that indie space sim Starwave Command, and that game has fully voiced tutorial instructions walking you through what you're doing. Modern naval warfare by comparison often feels like it gives you the keys keys to a submarine and then quietly backs out of the room. There is documentation and some tutorial videos you can link to, but it's simply not enough. And the developers clearly know onboarding needs work, but the fun is buried behind a serious knowledge barrier at the moment. If you already understand sonar, target motion analysis, weapon envelopes, and modern naval combat, this might feel like the sim you've waited decades for though. But if you're coming in from more traditional naval games, you may feel completely lost. And I don't really like taking digs at YouTubers because they're just doing their thing, but I watched a few of the Let's Players from the sim world and it was like, oh, here's a console, here's I click this button. They clearly had no idea what they were doing either, to be honest. It's a genuine problem with this title. And there's just a really unfinished early access feeling around the edges of this one, with things like database entries missing information or photographs, which matters in a game where learning, identification, and immersion are also important. None of this means the platform is bad. In fact, the platform is probably the most impressive thing here. But the surrounding content and player-facing polish still needs work. And that's the honest tension with modern naval warfare. It's clearly made with huge skill and passion. I was really humbled by the knowledge that the devs showed when I attended the event. But right now it feels more like a professional level simulation that is still learning how to become a commercial game. Weirdly, even with that frustration, something did keep pulling me back. But most of the time I was less calm submarine commander and more a man wandering around a very expensive tube hoping Tom had accidentally locked onto something useful. So should you buy modern naval warfare? For hardcore military sim fans, naval enthusiasts, ex-submariners, or the kind of player who sees a 200-page manual and thinks, lovely, that's my weekend sorted, I don't think I'm going to stop you. If you have the patience to study it, learn it, and accept that early access polish is still coming, there is a genuinely remarkable simulation here. But for the general gaming audience, this is a wait from me right now. Not because it's bad, I actually think in some ways it's incredibly impressive, but because it's currently too hard to learn, too light on proper onboarding, and too demanding for anyone who just wants to jump in and experience 10 submarine warfare without doing a small naval training course first. If you're curious, wishlist it, watch some gameplay and follow the early access updates, especially around tutorials, UI, documentation, and automation options. Modern naval warfare has huge potential and serious passion behind it. But right now, unless you are already the target audience, this is less of a straightforward buy it now, and more of a respect it from a safe distance while it continues to surface through early access. I've been Luke from LT Gaming. Like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one.